Welcome back to the Sunday Show. I'm Michael Steele, in for Jonathan Capehart. We begin this hour with an intelligence probe into former President Trump's hoarding problem. The Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, says she would lead a, quote, assessment of the potential risk to national security that would result from the disclosure of the relevant documents that were seized from Mar-a-Lago. Yesterday, a federal judge issued a preliminary ruling signaling support for Trump's request for a special master to review the documents. A hearing is scheduled for Thursday. This, of course, comes after a redacted copy of the FBI affidavit, which was used to justify the search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, was unsealed on Friday, revealing that the FBI uncovered 184 classified documents back in January, including some marked top secret. But there's one looming question here. Where are all the Trump defenders now? Because I'm old enough to remember when some Republicans were shouting from rooftops that this search was an abuse of power. According to Axios, there's a growing feeling among Trump allies that the search was justified. Just listen to what GOP strategist Karl Rove had to say.
You took documents that under the Presidential Records Act of 1978 should not have been taken from the White House. Please give them all back. Now, they obviously asked him a number of times, and he gave 15 boxes back. Why he continued to hold on to, almost a dozen more boxes is beyond me. I think it is up to I think it would be in the best advice to the former president to leave this to his lawyers and not to further comment on this.
Joining me now is Charles Coleman Jr., MSNBC legal analyst, civil rights attorney, and former Brooklyn prosecutor. Well, Charles, there's a little interesting turn of moments by Karl Rove. But when you stop back and look at it, the Office of Director of National Intelligence said it's working with the DOJ to facilitate a classification review of relevant materials, including those recovered during the search. What's your reaction to this assessment, and can you break down for us exactly what it may mean?
Well, Michael, the reaction to the assessment is, of course, this is still astonishing and astounding that we're even here and having this conversation about a former president of the United States of America and classified documents which threaten national security not being handled appropriately. That sort of assessment is going to look at, number one, what are the potential outcomes and risks involved with the documents that were held at Mar-a-Lago? And number two, what could be the risk to national security that results for the improper use and storage of this? They're going to look at who had access to them. They're going to look at who might have been interested into them. And they're also going to look at anything that has potentially developed since those documents have been at Mar-a-Lago that may have stemmed as a result of them being there. So they're going to do a 360 comprehensive evaluation to make a determination as to what level of risk did this pose to our national security, and going forward, what level of risk does it pose? So there's going to be some prediction as well in terms of what are the potential outcomes that can be affected by these documents being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So, Charles, we now know that a judge issued a preliminary ruling on Trump's request for a special master. It's worth pointing out, however, that that same Florida judge who made this preliminary ruling was appointed by Trump. And she's already indicated that she plans to appoint a special master, even though no action has been taken yet. How do you assess that? What's your reaction to all of this? It seems a little bit weighted by the judge.
Well, Michael, I had a different reaction to it. I think you can look at it in one of two ways. On one hand, you can obviously think that Donald Trump is again getting his way somehow through the courts, of course, through a judge that he appointed. And that judge is showing some favor to him, perhaps prematurely and even almost arguably prejudicially against the DOJ. But I also think that there's another way you can look at it, which is, listen, the documents are going to speak for themselves, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. When you're talking about a special master, you're talking about an independent, neutral eye that's going to be looking at these documents. So at the end of the day, if and when, because I'm very confident that the special master would, in fact, come back in favor of the DOJ saying that, look, these documents should not have been there and Trump has violated the law. After that special master reviews that, you have no more bullets in the chamber. You have no more arguments if you're Donald Trump and your legal team. You ask for a special master. master. You asked for an independent review to ensure that this was not politically motivated. You got that. And then when you got it, the special master said, in fact, that it wasn't. And in fact, that the DOJ's was completely justified in terms of what they did and how they did it. So I think that there are multiple ways that you can go about looking at this. But ultimately, once the truth comes out, once everything comes out in the wash, having a special master takes an argument away from Donald Trump he can't use again.
So Charles, I want to stick on that point for a second. So what do you think Trump's lawyers or Trump himself think they're going to get out of a special master here? I mean, why are they asking for something that may actually wind up biting them in the rear? I mean, is this a delay tactic, or do they think that a special master is going to find something that the judge that authorized the affidavit didn't?
I think in a perfect world, Michael, it's a combination of a few things. Number one, they are hoping perhaps within the hundreds of documents that were taken, perhaps the special master finds 6 or 7, maybe, that they say, teeter on the notion of, well, this maybe shouldn't have been a part of the conversation with the judge and so on and so forth. Maybe this shouldn't have been included. Maybe the DOJ overreached here. I think anything that they get in that win, in that vein, is a win for them. But I think overarching, the most important thing that they're looking for with this tactic is twofold. It's a 4-letter word, and you hit it on it. It's called time. They want a delay. They want more time. They want to see what it is that they can do in terms of taking the time between now and whenever this thing is going to move forward to figure out whether Donald Trump is going to try to run again, to figure out how much they can control. And this is the second point, to figure out how much they can control the public narrative in the meantime, to try and see if they can reverse this trend of more and more people who want to see the former president investigated, who want to see the former president held accountable. So it's time and narrative control between now and whatever happens next with this investigation. This special master move, because it's going to take time. It's going to take time for a special master to be identified, approved, and then to do what it is that they're supposed to do. So that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping for that delay.